All right, you guys, so welcome back. We are now looking at our second part of our assignment, which is going to now move us into actually the solving part of solving quadratic equations. All right, so I have x squared minus 4x minus 100 equals negative 4x. So this is why we started off the lesson with making sure it's equal to 0, because you cannot start factoring until it's equal to 0. So this negative 4x is not in a good spot, so I'm going to add 4x. Because there is a like term on this side, I'm going to line it up. Well, negative 4x plus 4x is 0, so that means I am left with x squared minus 100 equals 0. All right. And that's perfectly okay. That is not a mistake. So now this is where all the factoring that you have been taught is fair game. Okay. So I can ask you to factor by any means necessary. So that's why it's important to have those questions. Okay. Your first one is there a GCF? Is there a DOS? And if it's not, you need to go to your X puzzle. Okay, so those are your first three. I mean, you got to go through those. So I'm looking at this and there is not a GCF. So I go to my next question. Is it a difference of squares? Well, I have a subtraction sign. I have even exponents, and I can take the square root of 100. So that fits the criteria of a difference of squares. Now, I'm not worried about the equals 0 at the moment. Okay, so now I'm going to say, all right, well, that's x minus 10 x plus 10, and now I'm going to bring down this equal 0. All right, so now that I have factored it, how do I solve it? Okay, well, I want it to equal 0, so I'm going to use the idea of the zero product property. And what that says is that anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So A, which is anything, times 0 equals 0. Which means if one of these equals 0, my final answer will be 0. If both of them equal 0, it'll be 0. So I need to figure out what values of x will make this parentheses 0 and this parentheses 0. Now, you're only going to have to see me do this one time, and then you can use the shortcut. So to figure that out, I take each parentheses and I say, all right, x minus 10 equals 0. X plus 10 equals 0. And then I just solve the equation like normal. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So I get x equals 10. I'm going to subtract 10 here. So I get x equals negative 10. Now, there is a relationship, okay? X minus 10, my answer was 10. X plus 10, my answer was x equals negative 10. And that will work out that way. It'll be the opposites. Okay. Now, if there's a number up front, you got to learn the pattern for that one, but we're not there yet. So if it's just one x and one x, just take the opposite. Okay. So these are your answers, and it's both of them. You have two answers, x equals 10 and x equals negative 10. Now, these answers have a lot of names. Okay, so the first answer is solutions. They are also called roots. These are also called x-intercepts. These are also called zeros. So the equation, or the not the equation, the question here for delta math could have said solve for all solutions of x by factoring, solve for all roots by factoring, solve for all x-intercepts by factoring, solve for all zeros by factoring, because these all mean the same thing. Okay? All right. Now, when you are typing in your final answer in Delta Math, okay, you're going to type 10, comma, And look what happens when I hit the comma. It gave me a new answer box, okay? And then -10. It's because you have 2 separate answers. All right, now here's how you can also do it. See this plus and the minus? If you hit plus, it'll give you another answer box. But if you type 10 comma, the answer box will appear because you have to have 2 separate boxes for Delta Math. Submit my answer. Yes. If I move this out of the way, there you go. Okay? All right, I'll come back in another video and do another couple of examples.